I have a fun new build for 8-star hunts and the upcoming monsters in the free title update, and it's based around Lord's Favor. So if you buff allies, they all get 10 raw damage, and that just goes naturally with the hunting horn or anything supportive, and why not throw in the wide range? I'm taking a mega demon drug, I'm gonna use a pill when things get crazy, and then we're just helping everyone out even more. So I've been not that I've been going back and forth on wide range, but if you want to be like a dedicated healing horn, wide range just doesn't feel like it matters. Like, oh, I drink a potion, or I could just play melodies and be useful. But with this, we're going to be focusing on paralysis. It's going to lead to a lot of damage early on in the fight and help wear down the monster, and then as it gets that paralysis immunity just naturally from reapplications of it, then you can go into your healing horn. In my experience, like, yo, the Grudge Sounder is just the best hunting horn if you want to be a support, so that's why I haven't really cared about wide range. It just kind of feels too weird to split that up. But if you're just in your Paralysis Horn, yeah, you buff everyone up. The Mega Demon Drug's just going to last the entire fight, so you don't have to worry about rebuffing it. And if you need to take a potion or do like a little bit extra, that's going to spread before you transition into your Grudge Sounder. So the rest of the build is based around that. Now, because we're running wide range, your item pouch is going to be very important because you need your armor skin, you need your pills. The seeds, they last a couple of minutes, so like if you have downtime, if everyone is like following the monster when it moves to a new area, alright, that's when you sharpen up, take some extra seed, just kind of manage your buffs. This is where a lot of practice and skill cap comes in, because yeah, if you're just grooving for 6 minutes and buffs are wearing off, that's kind of tricky, so you actually have to like look at the small little icons in the top left of the screen just to make sure everything is all balanced, and it can be easy to lose sight of that. And then I'm just kind of prepared for everything. And another reason wide range has kind of felt weird is because life powder and dust of life exist. So if you don't have wide range, you just need to heal the team, you use these, and in most hunts you're not going to be using it more than 5 times. And when not running wide range, or if you don't like need a significant amount of heals for the team inside of a fight, then life powder and dust of life does the job. So make sure you set that up on your loadout, just kind of make sure you have everything. Also, you want to make sure everything is good on your radial menu. I'm not doing the Warcry set, so to victory here actually doesn't need to be here. Also, moving things to where you're most comfortable using them, that's going to be really important. I have Nullberry on my bar because apparently optimal status recovery just doesn't work when I have like a Nullberry on me and then I'm affected by some kind of blight and then it just doesn't like show up in the optimal status. So I just have that there just in case it's not like catching whatever I need. Then I should have everything else in my inventory for the optimal status. Then you just kind of heal and set up and just make sure all that's good. And then we can see how crazy speed eating is, because we are actually just gobbling down all of this stuff. So even though it feels kind of weird, like, yeah, I'm just using consumables, that's also something you want to practice, because inside of fights, I'm also really bad at this, where I'm just like, why is it not eating? Why is it not taking my food? I'm just like flicking it too fast, and it's not working. You also have to like pay attention to the animations. So you want to make sure like, okay, you have this kind of down, you have things fairly memorized, or at least ordered in a nice little spot, and then you set up your Rocksteady Mantle. That's going to go into how you're going to be playing out this horn. So I've already got a guide for that, and I'm going to put that in at the end of this video. So if you want to know how the combos work for the setup, that's going to be a little later on, but there is going to be a little bit of tech. And then your playstyle revolves around that. So you give everyone all the good stuff, and then you can have all that set up, and now you're just going to be grooving and vibing and rebuffing and healing, and that should make even the difficult fights nice and easy. And then we can check out the full details of the build in Mobalytics. You can also find this in the description down below, so you don't have to rewatch the video when you're making the set for yourself. If you really want to use it, like, comment, share, give your thoughts down below as well. So yeah, element boost with some affinity, Sonorous Expert Jewel. Sonorous is huge here because your buffs are actually one of the most important things. This is tied for me with the Bonehorn when it comes to, oh, do I just go attack, defense, wind pressure with some sonic barriers, or do you just get all the other great stuff that comes with the Omiltica status? Divine Protection and Ailment Negation? That's insane. Now, we do have crit status, and the Expert Jewel just kind of helps out with that. It doesn't really apply too much, but just like any little bit of extra paralysis might matter. You speed up, like hitting your cap or getting like those extra paralysis in, you go into the grudge sounder, then it's going to be GG easy. So to get inspiration, that's going to be the Udra Miremail Alpha set. And then we just kind of play around with the rest of it. Like, okay, Sheath Jewels, because quick sheath, we run in and out of fights, we stay in combat, we leave combat real quick, we gobble food super duper fast, and then everything is going to just keep people buffed up, keep applying inspiration, and then you're just going to be super duper giga safe as well, and Sheath Jewel is going to help with that. Now, the Udra Mire Braces are awesome because we get 2 out of 3 speed eating and 2 out of 3 counter strike. So we take a hit, we get a little bit of damage for a short amount of time. That's nice. And even though it's like a level 2 slot, we just put our Gobbler here. So now our Mire Braces give us max speed eating and some free counter strike. We're not maxing out everything we can get. There's not enough slots for the level 3 quick sheath, but 2 is just fine. And then we get burst on the Mire Mail and the Mire Greaves. So we just kind of like have a little bit of extra stuff, and it's mostly like, okay, stay alive forever, wide range, and then now you're going for the inspiration, which is why we need the Alpha Mire Mail set. I really like the Suja Sash. It gives you Divine Blessing maxed out for free, and then 3 slots to just put in resistances for, so that's pretty nice. And I have an extra wind resistance jewel here because, like, oh, just maxes out our wind proof. That's cool as well. And then we get all of our friendship from the Blongo Helm. So 2 wide range with 3 slots. Boom. And because this is a defensive supportive build, we put in the defense charm level 4 because that actually gives us a really nice breakpoint where, oh, we also get +3 to all elemental resistances, and it takes 2 more to move that to the next tier. So this is kind of like the best breakpoint where, oh, percentage defense, huge defense bonus, and some elemental resistance. Yeah, that charm is actually busted and slept on, and it means you can just, like, stay in the fight. You don't have to worry about getting, like, chained out and having to take a cart. And if we're going to be doing higher level, more difficult, tempered 8-star hunts, yeah, you want that. So the reason why it's water resistance is because this is for upcoming content. We got Mizutsune. If you're going to be changing to other ones, yeah, you just swap out your resistances. Shia has fire and thunder damage. So we can see, like, our natural fire resist is really high, so we put in thunder jewels for the Shia fight. And unfortunately, this is going to be pretty weak to Mizutsune, so it might need like its own specialized build. I'm also working on that. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out my builds on Mobalytics. That even if I don't have a video for it, I might even have a build on my profile, because I'm always labbing all kinds of things. We got high rank Mizutsune. That video is going to come out later. But yeah, here we find durability, oil slit, some good passives, and then armor that isn't going to put us into the heavy negatives, and then we can still maintain damage on the hunt. Then I also have all of the setup and quick combos for the melodies, so if just like looking at the video and trying to decipher what I'm doing is too much, you can just follow the text guide and then learn and get comfortable with that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. If you know how to set up everything, there you go. If you need to see the video of the combos, that's where I'm putting it in. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. This is going to be your guide to using a Paralysis Artian Hunting Horn in Monster Hunter Wilds. So the first thing we want to do is our setup, and that's just going to be everything in order. So as you can see, it goes status attack up, divine protection, all ailments negated, and it just chains itself. So there is an interesting part that I do want to show, because a lot of this is just going to be buffering, and that's like, okay, we have our Flourish, and then we can use that to get in a double note. So it goes Flourish, Double Note, Overhead Smash, Buffered Triangle, but then we want to Hilt Stab, because if we go for an Overhead Smash, even with a Buffered Note, and we do it again, that's going to be the follow-up attack, which doesn't let us have an input, and it takes a lot longer. So notice, we go Overhead Smash, follow-up attack, and then we mash. We don't get a hit inside of it. It doesn't give us a free note. So you want to turn that into a Hilt Stab. And then when you hilt stab it, you do a left swing because it's slightly faster, and then you can buffer a triangle, and then you do 2 double notes. Now the quick combo for this is going to be Flourish, double, hilt stab, and then you do an echo bubble, triangle, double, triangle, and then you can just kind of buffer everything from there. So that's going to be like the quicker setup, it's worth using a bubble for, and then you just have like really OP stuff, that the status attack up, divine protection, all ailments. Now you're just strong for a while. At some point you gotta do some other things. So the next one is going to be a self-improvement into the offset melody. So you flourish into a buffer, into a hilt stab, there's your offset melody, but then we can just turn that into our echo waves, So, boom. Now we get self-improvement, 2 echo waves with the offset melody ready to go, which also means once you have like your base set up, then you go echo bubble, and that's going to be triangle, triangle, circle, and then you just go flourish into the double, and now you can then go for your chaining, where you just kind of put in notes and buffers as you go. So now you have 2 bubbles down, everything. You can start with the self-improvement, so you want to make sure you get that, so you get at least a little bit of damage increase, and then now you're getting crazy paralysis, crazy echo waves, all of your damage, all of your setup, and you now just have an offset melody to use, which is pretty nice. And now it's just going to be chaining into itself, so overhead smash, hilt stab, and then you just kind of find the buffers inside of it, and boom, there's your quick combo for the triple echo wave paralysis, and at any point you can do the natural setup. Now, the echo bubbles are interesting because it's not going to be the same thing over and over, that you have to switch it up depending on where you left off. So the first one is going to be double, circle, double, and then the next one you have to reverse it into circle, double, circle. It's just something you have to pay attention to, because normally your echo bubbles are just going to be like the same 3-note spam over and over, but not with this one. And then you can just kind of get all of your echo waves and you lay down crazy paralysis. And then that brings us to the offset melody, which is kind of weird to use, that you're not using it as like a dodge or a response to the attack hitting you. You want to make sure that your weapon connects with the attack as it's coming in. Also, you can hold the offset melody, so let's go and line that up. And it gives you a bit of a dodge out, so you can just kind of like dodge out, hold, wait for the attack, and then when it comes in, you want to clash into it, and you can get like a really big knockback and a really big knockdown with it. After you do all that, you can swap into your secondary hunting horn, and that's going to be after a couple of things, like maybe just get 1 paralysis down or all the really awesome buffs to start the fight, but maybe you or your team needs healing, and then that's when we go into our setup. So you want to get that quick earplugs where everything's buffered, and then that's going to keep the team safe. So now you have like divine protection, earplugs, ailment negation. If anyone else is running status, they're buffed up. It also comes down to experience with individual hunts. Sometimes like, oh, I can get 4 paralysis inside of a hunt. Maybe that 4th or 5th one takes a little too long. It's like, yeah, it's not worth it going for that because the resistance to that status ailment goes up. So then it's like, yeah, I'm just going to go to the hunting horn and we're going to get a clean finish. Or maybe even notice like, oh, 1 or 2 people have dropped. We only have 1 revive left. I'm not going to greed my status paralysis horn. I'm going to make sure no one dies. And then the rest of it goes into my other healing hunting horn guides where it's like, all right, you go double, standing, and then hilt stab. And that's going to be 1. You want to do it again before you worry about anything else. And you can also just kind of put in echo bubbles or chain and try to combo them together. So now we have a melody of life, 2 health recoveries, and we can go into something else as we need to. After that, you can go echo bubble into an echo wave blunt, or you just go like circle, double, hilt stab, and then everything buffers, and that's going to be all nice. And then you can do your performance. So now we have like blunt damage coming in, which can be really powerful and really nice for some stuns, and then healing. And whenever we need a clutch heal, that's when you can go and use your melody of life. Also, you can go like echo wave chaining, where it's like, okay, now we do this, and then we can also get a quick small recovery if we need it in there. We can use it to refresh our self-improvements, and then we just kind of like play around for balancing heals, using large health recoveries to reset our melody of life, and then echo wave bubbles for the damage to finish off the fight, since there should just be like a huge health advantage from all the paralysis that you laid down and all the extra status you did earlier on in the fight. And then maybe there's even some rotations that you get down depending on the hunt, where it's like, okay, after a couple of minutes, you know, you just play for 1 or 2 paralysis, switch to healing horn, switch back to get your final 3rd and 4th paralysis. And while you're doing that, you're also resetting your statuses. And then you're resetting your statuses. So we've kind of seen how this one goes before, where you just want to make sure that we hilt stab that, do a standing, but a forward smash is fine. And then we just do double buffers and everything is back. And then we can just get echo wave paralysis spam, offset melody if we want to go for that counter, and then just kind of play it out with your hunting horn.